boy comes across an abandoned shack in rural Maryland.
After we found that building, everything changed.
And stumbles upon a portal to an evil world.
Hail Satan!
For years, a demon threatens to devour him, body and soul, until he reaches his breaking point.
I was in constant fear. It was controlling me. It wanted me to die.
Can he be saved? Or will he be lost forever? In America, there is real evil. It lurks in the darkest shadows and in our most ordinary towns. Between the worlds we see and the things we fear, there are doors. When they are opened, nightmares become reality. In Maryland, far from cities like Annapolis and Baltimore, there are fields and forests where a boy can still explore like frontiersmen of old.
Oedington was in the middle of nowhere. It was right back in the middle of the woods.
In the summer of 2003, 12-year-old John Drenner Jr. ventures into the forest behind his grandmother's home. Cheryl, his 14-year-old sister, leads the way.
John, come on, I'm not waiting for you. Keep up.
I'm coming.
Me and my sister Cheryl were inseparable. My sister, she was always the outgoing one, very outspoken. I was more of the follower.
John and I would always go in the woods to play. We would go on nature hunts, look for animals, things like that. We like to explore.
But there are certain mysteries better left undisturbed.
One day we found an old abandoned building.
As we walked closer to it, we started getting this weird feeling about it, like we shouldn't be there.
I definitely had an eerie feeling. Something was just telling me don't go near it. It was spooky.
John, what are you doing? Get away from there.
Come on, this is cool.
No way.
I decided that I was going to be the brave one and venture inside. She was always the one that was making the good choices, where I really wasn't.
John, come on, I want to go.
Okay, I'm coming. Wait up. There's something here.
In one of the corners, I found a book. It had an upside-down cross on it.
At first, the book appears harmless, but then it evokes a darkness.
Cleanse yourself of malignant and pent-up emotions. Hail Satan. Why should I not hate my enemies? Hail Satan.
And I just started getting this heaviness in my chest, and it felt like I couldn't breathe. And it was just this scary feeling.
Cheryl!
I ended up throwing the book.
Wait up!
Because it scared me so bad.
Wait up!
Suddenly, John gets the feeling he's being followed.
I just started hearing this incoherent whispering, and I knew it was coming from the woods.
John tries to forget about his terrifying experience in the shack. That summer, John spends weekends at his grandmother's house. One night, Cheryl hears disturbing noises coming from John's room.
Hey, it's late. I can hear you all the way out in the hall. John, who are you talking to?
It sounded like he was speaking in another language. It wasn't English. I couldn't understand him. And when he finally stopped talking, his nose started bleeding.
John! John, you okay? Oh my gosh, your nose is bleeding. You okay?
What's going on?
I don't know. You're okay. You'll be fine. You're fine.
The next morning, John's mother and stepfather arrive to take him to his home 12 miles away in Pasadena, Maryland. John tries to put the bizarre incidents of the last few days behind him.
How was the weekend?
It's good.
Until his sister brings them up.
It would have been better if John hadn't started acting all weird.
Jeez, Cheryl.
Ever since you went in that creepy building in the woods.
I told you kids to stay out of the woods.
The woods are said to harbor dark secrets. Local legend has it that satanic rituals took place there.
Everyone in the neighborhood said, don't go near the Devil's Church. Whenever someone used to go by there, either got killed on the nearby train tracks or something horribly bad happened to them.
But although John's mother has heard the rumors, she doesn't put much faith in them.
They're just rumors, Mom.
My opinion of the paranormal was it was about as legitimate as the Easter Bunny.
But her son John is about to find out just how true rumors can be. A few nights later, John is at home with his mom and stepdad when he suddenly hears something odd.
I had heard scratching on the house and in the walls and outside of the house. And then I started hearing banging on the walls. It sounded like somebody was punching the walls right next to me. I just tried to ignore it, and that's when my bed shook. It was a very violent shaking. It felt like an earthquake.
But then, from the darkness, it's the summer of 2003 in Odenton, Maryland. Ever since John Drenner Jr. discovered a mysterious book in the woods near his grandmother's home, he can't shake the feeling that an unseen evil lurks in the shadows, watching him.
There was something happening, something going on. The first time that I heard the whispering in the woods, I knew there was just something off about it. I knew there was something wrong, and it scared me.
Hail Satan! Hail Satan!
Cheryl worries about the sudden change she sees in her little brother.
He was scared to tell me. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know how I could help.
You okay?
What's going on?
You're okay. You'll be fine.
But the night comes when John meets the dark force face to face.
He was about 7 to 8 feet tall, black and shaped like a person.
Honey, what's wrong? What is it, honey?
I saw something.
What did you see? What?
It's gone.
Okay. What was it?
It looked like a man.
John told me that he heard scratching noises like someone was trying to get into the room. He complained of seeing shadows, of seeing the monster.
Okay, John. There isn't a man. It was probably a light from a passing car. Okay?
I just thought he was scared, maybe heard a noise. It was his imagination.
Do you want me to stay with you for a bit? Yeah?
She told me that I was just having a nightmare, that I needed to go back to bed. My mother really wasn't the religious type. She looked at everything from an analytical aspect, science. If she couldn't see it, feel it, taste it, touch it, it wasn't real.
Night after night, the same creature pays John a visit.
I started sleeping with the blanket over my head so I couldn't see it.
John's mother decides to bring him to a child psychologist.
After so many nights, I contacted an institute that would diagnose and treat John for whatever was ailing him.
My mom always thought that there was something psychological going on with John.
John was diagnosed first with having night terrors, and they gave him medication, but said eventually he would grow out of it.
I knew that what was happening to me was real. It wasn't something that was in my mind.
Things appear to calm down for a while, until one weekend when they are back at their grandmother's house, Cheryl finds John acting strangely.
I was in the kitchen eating breakfast one morning,
No. No.
and I heard
No, I
John
won't.
in the living room talking to someone, so I wandered in there to see who he was talking to.
No. No, I can't. I don't want to do that. I won't.
John. Who are you talking to?
You're not supposed to be here.
And he was sitting in the corner, just talking to the corner.
He says, you're not supposed to be here.
He was awake. He was having a conversation with whoever he was talking to.
Grandma? Something's wrong with John.
John, are you okay?
But John is not okay as he finally emerges from his trance.
It's bleeding. Just like before.
I was terrified for him.
John, what's going on with you?
I don't know what's happening to me. They won't leave me alone.
I had talked to my grandmother and told her about everything that was happening. I said, this man, he's tormenting me. She hugged me and said, I'm gonna take care of this for you.
A few days later, John's grandmother decides to take action. She places religious articles in John's room at her house, hoping they'll protect him.
Our grandmother was religious. She would read us the Bible. She believed John. She thought that there was something spiritual going on.
I was very hopeful that, that would at least stop it. That would create a safe zone for me.
I don't think it helped.
The crucifix at his grandmother's house only seems to be making things worse.
The very next night, this entity was there. Using the crucifixes was just making it mad. It wasn't doing anything to protect me.
few nights later, when he's back home with his mom and stepdad, John senses the evil force is back.
That night, I just laid down to close my eyes and I heard a knock in the corner of my room. It was the shadow entity. I was paralyzed with fear.
When he was just a boy, John Drenner Jr. unwittingly uncovered an evil force in an abandoned shack, rumored to be the site of satanic gatherings.
Hail Satan! Hail Satan!
Since then, a malevolent entity has followed him, cornering him in his bedroom at home in Pasadena, Maryland.
At this point, I am terrified. I am absolutely terrified of not knowing what is going to happen next.
Night after night, the dark figure torments John in his bedroom, the one place where he should feel safe. And as time wears on, the entity grows bolder and more grotesque.
I couldn't move, I couldn't scream. I could just look at it. It's emptiness in its eyes. It's just absolute evil.
No!
John has run to his mom and stepdad for help many times, even though they believe he is just suffering from night terrors. But that night, John's cries go unanswered.
I started banging on my parents' door to wake up and help me. This thing was going to hurt me. I felt like it was going to kill me. And I'm banging on the door for about 5 minutes and nothing.
Open the door!
Honey, I'm gonna go downstairs. Can I get you anything?
No, I'm okay.
Okay. Hey, buddy. Shouldn't you be in bed?
Why wouldn't you open the door? I've been pounding and screaming to get you to wake up.
But they weren't ignoring him. They never even heard him.
Buddy, we've been awake the whole time and we never heard anything. You never made a sound.
I didn't know what to think. That honestly scared me even worse.
Come on, let's go back to bed. It's all right.
The only thing I could do was comfort him. At that point, after all the other steps I had taken, the only thing I could do was to be there for my son. I was looking for a logical reason for everything and a logical way to fix things, but there was nothing that I could do to stop the occurrences that were happening.
Frustrated that his mother and stepfather don't believe him, John pulls away from his family.
He started shutting everyone out. He shut me out. He shut our grandmother out. He was angry.
I was completely alone in this. Nobody could understand or believe what they couldn't see or feel for themselves. And it was a complete and total nightmare for me.
John finds solace in the company of friends who take his fears seriously. One night, they play with fire when they attempt to contact the evil entity to help rid John of his tormentor.
Aren't you supposed to ask it something?
Oh, yeah.
I decided to tell one of my friends about what was going on.
Is there anybody here with us?
He had said, well, I have a spirit board. We can use it and find out what it wants, and then it'll leave you alone.
It's not working.
Why are you messing with John?
I had no idea what it was or how it worked or anything like that, because I'd never really messed with him before.
It's not working.
Guess not. I'll be right back.
Here, let me try.
My one friend got up to use the bathroom.
What happened?
Something grabbed my leg in there.
He said, I felt something touch my leg.
Let's go. Right.
Wait, don't go.
John now knows for certain that the evil entity is not just in his imagination.
It was a massive turning point in my life when my friends had experienced something. It was like this sense of relief. Somebody else has seen it as well.
But at the same time, John has no idea that he has just invited evil deeper into his life. And things are about to get a lot worse.
That's weird.
I felt this heaviness in my chest again. I knew it was around.
Who are you?
We are Legion.
It said, we are Legion, and we will never leave.
We?
For the past few years, John Drenner Jr. has been battling a malevolent, demonic force hell-bent on taking over his body and his soul. It all started after he unknowingly encountered the entity in an abandoned shack in the Maryland woods.
Indulgence instead of abstinence.
Rumored to be the site of satanic worship.
Hail Satan! Hail Satan!
One night, after using a spirit board, John has a close encounter with his tormentor.
Who are you?
We are Legion.
We?
It was just this deep, grovelly, bass-type voice. It just literally radiated through your whole body.
Then, the sinister force attacks.
And I could feel its breath on my face. It was trying to choke me to death. I felt like it was going to kill me.
But no one comes to his aid. John manages to escape the clutches of the evil entity, but knows it's only a matter of time before it strikes again. With family and friends unable to help him in his fight, John conducts research to try to understand what he's up against.
It was attacking me. And at this point, I was really in fear for my life. Nobody believed me when I told them. They just thought I was crazy.
Suddenly, John comes across an image of an upside-down cross, nearly identical to the one he saw on the book in the woods. It's a symbol often used by devil worshippers.
Hail Satan! Why should I not hate mine enemies? Hail Satan! Hail Satan!
It all begins to make sense. Somehow, a demonic entity attached itself to John in the shack that day. And now it won't let him go.
I think the entity was trying to push me to the point where I would kill myself. It wanted me to die so it could collect my soul.
And John has no idea how to rid himself of it. Since he was a boy, John Drenner Jr. has been battling a demonic force. Now 19 years old, he is living on his own in Glen Burnie, Maryland, not far from his family home. Frightening visions and voices plague him nightly with no end in sight.
I had tried to kill myself a few times. I was tired of dealing with this, and I was tired of fighting this by myself.
John has found himself increasingly isolated from those he loves. His mother.
I did try to figure out what was wrong with John. It was so extremely frustrating. You can't stop something that you can't see, that you can't hear, that you can't feel. You need something tangible.
And his sister.
It was very frustrating to be shut out of his life. I got married and moved farther away. I just kind of wrote it off as he'll talk to me when he's ready.
That summer, a ray of sunshine pierces through John's dreary existence. Her name is Mary Segura.
I can't believe I'm really here.
I know, neither can I.
I met John when me and my sister decided to go to the mall. John and his friend was upstairs, and he kind of looked down at me, and I kind of looked down on him. He had those beautiful eyes, those green eyes.
After dating a year, they've made the decision to live together.
Is that it? The last box?
Last one.
We had that instant connection. I just knew.
All this time, John has managed to keep his dark secret from his girlfriend. But their blissful life together is about to take a tragic turn.
I didn't tell Mary what was happening to me because I didn't want her to think that I was a whack job, and I didn't want her to just leave me.
John has no idea that the demon is no longer just after him. It now seeks to intimidate his girlfriend. A few weeks after moving in, Mary begins to feel a presence other than John in their home.
I felt like someone was watching me, but I knew that nobody was home. It's the worst feeling you can ever possibly have.
When he was a boy, John Drenner Jr. uncovered an evil entity in the woods of Maryland. Since the moment the demon attached itself to him, it has tormented John relentlessly.
At this point in my life, at 19 years old, I just assumed that I was going to have to deal with this for the rest of my life. It was a sense of hopelessness, and it made things a lot harder for me, knowing that I wasn't ever going to be freed from this. I was just going to spend the rest of my life in hell.
John's been dating his girlfriend Mary for the past year, but until she moves in with him, she has no idea he's being pursued by a demon. One day, Mary senses its presence.
It's the worst feeling, knowing that something's not behind you, but you can feel it. You can feel something breathing looking at you, but when you turn back, nothing's there.
Oh my God, you scared me.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I've been having this creepy feeling all day.
Creepy.
Yeah, it's nothing.
He just said, oh, it's just a weird feeling. It's just probably my imagination. I'm getting used to having someone else live with me.
I had the feeling that she knew something was going on, but she didn't know what.
For the next few days, John continues to hide the truth from Mary until she begins to sense a change in him.
Throughout the days, he would be sweet and loving. Then all of a sudden you say one thing and he snapped. He was aggressive.
Hey, did you mail the rent check?
I will.
Okay, when?
I will. I'm trying to read.
I just don't want to have to pay a late fee and then there's like charges.
I said I will.
What's wrong with your eyes?
What do you mean?
The eyes were black, frightening. It wasn't my John. Something else was taking over his body and his soul.
Mary. Why don't you come out, Mary? Mary.
John.
What are you, come here.
Oh, John. Oh, John. Oh my God, your eyes, they're so terrible.
There's something I need to tell you. It's okay.
He started to tell me everything about his life and dealing with this demonic thing.
Ever since I was a kid, it's tortured me and it's followed me. I thought it was over. I thought it was gone, and the last thing that I wanted was for anything to happen to you. I'm sorry.
I didn't know what to think. Either A, he's crazy, or B, he really needs help. That's a lot to take in, and for a minute there, he kind of had me in shock.
I was sure that she was going to leave me.
Okay. Okay, hon, we'll work on this together.
Mary convinces John he needs help from a higher power.
I figured, well, let's try to go to some churches to see if they can help. None of it was working. All the ones that we went to, either they turned us down or they just didn't want to deal with it.
One night, John has a disturbing dream, an omen of more bad things to come.
Mary? 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 Mary?
When I had looked up, I had seen that the sky was blood red. There were these black things flying around in a circle. In the middle of the sky was this red sun, what looked like a swirling portal.
It's just a nightmare.
It was frustrating. I couldn't do anything to help the love of my life. And I suffered every time he had a nightmare, every time he had a vision, I suffered. Because that was me feeling hopeless.
But John's nightmares are not the only thing Mary will suffer. The demon is not finished with her yet. The next night, while John is working a night shift, Mary finds herself alone.
It was pitch dark. Turned on my cell phone. It was full battery. There was no way that it could just die.
No, come on.
For years, John Drenner Jr. has been plagued by an unrelenting demon that seeks to possess him. And now it seeks to scare off his girlfriend.
It was pitch dark. Turned on my cell phone. It was full battery. Turned on the light so I can see. And all of a sudden, battery drained. And my heart started racing. The figure was face to face to me. I was terrified. I didn't know what to do, but just stand there and shake. I've never experienced anything like this before. Anything.
And just as suddenly, the demon disappears. John now knows the entity will stop at nothing to destroy him and isolate him from the people who care about him.
This shadow entity was gaining power, and it wanted complete and total control.
In February of 2012, a friend puts John in touch with Bill Bean, an ordained deliverance minister, similar to an exorcist, but not affiliated with the Catholic Church.
John said, I think I found our solution.
At this point, I was willing to try anything to make this end.
Please help us.
I will. Come closer.
When John came to meet with me, I immediately sensed the presence of evil that was upon him. I could see the demon that was behind his eyes, absolutely could see it.
Bill believes John first came into contact with the demon in childhood, and now, years later, it's on the verge of taking possession of him.
Son, I believe a demon attached to you when you were a child.
I felt that John was strongly demonically oppressed or possibly even possessed. Demonic oppression is the beginning stages of possession. The person becomes introverted, withdrawn from family members and friends. They start to have a negative outlook on everything.
John, you need a prayer of deliverance. Now.
Deliverance is similar to an exorcism. In John's case, it was severe. Steps had to be taken right then and there.
And something in me kept telling me, don't do it.
But with nowhere else to turn, John wills himself to go through with it.
Amen.
I forced myself to take his hand.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters.
Suddenly, the evil John encountered so long ago lashes out.
Satan represents indulgence instead of abstinence.
Hail, Satan. He restoreth my soul.
Satan represents undefiled wisdom instead of hypocritical self-deceit.
I take power and authority over this demonic spirit in the name of God. I cast you out, spirit!
I said, do you renounce Satan and all of his works?
Yes, I do.
I cast you out, spirit! Cast you out!
I remember just coming to, looking him in the eye, and it felt like the weight of the world was lifted off of me.
Is it over? Is it really over?
It was the most amazing feeling that I have ever felt in my life.
I think it is.
At that moment, I got my John back. John today is loving, sweet. I definitely feel that the situation made him a stronger, more outgoing person.
You love
it. I do.
You love it.
Eventually, John reestablishes ties with his sister and mother.
Whatever.
When my brother came back into my life, he was happy again, and we're working and growing our relationship every day.
John's mother, a paranormal skeptic, is still devoted to science and logic.
He's like, Mom, can you explain what happened to me? I can't explain. And I said, it doesn't matter. I found my solace and comfort knowing that my son was finally free and happy.
Thank you.
John now works as Bill Bean's apprentice, helping other people overcome demonic oppression. This is risky work, but John believes it is his calling.
I had a dream one night that I was helping people. And I said, you know what? I need to face my fears. I know what it's like to be in hell. I know what it's like to be tormented for years. It was time for me to help pull other people from the darkness.